For Unit 3, Part 2, Day 8 notes, we are going to graph absolute value equations, which instead of being a line, it's a V shape. So here in the vocabulary, I didn't make you fill it in, I just bolded it for you. But absolute value function is a V-shaped graph that opens either up or down. So you can see here it's opening up. A translation, you should know translations from like rotation, translation, and reflection. But a translation is just a shift. On a graph, we're going to say it's going to either shift horizontally or vertically. So it's either going to go left or right or up and down. So if you look at the first example, this is just more of an observation. So like this particular equation, this is your everyday, like common absolute value equation. It's called a parent function. Y equals the absolute value of x. So you can see it starts here at 0, 0. This part right here is called the vertex. And to get each one of these points, they're going up one, right one, up one, right one, up one, right one. Then they're going to do the opposite. They're going to go up one, but left one. Up one, left one, up one, left one. So if you compare this, what they call parent function, so this is like the original function, to the new function, what happened? So did anything stay the same? Did anything change? So if you look, instead of starting at 0, 0, they're starting at 0, negative 2. Okay, so we obviously shifted down 2 units. Okay, but if you look at all of the points here, it's still going up one, right one, up one, right one, up one, right one, up one, left one, up one, left one, up one, left one. So how you get the V shape is still the same. We just shifted the graph down to negative 2. Okay. So now for the next 2 examples, we're going to actually get involved with how do we graph these? What do we do? Okay, so let's start here. Okay, it says graphing absolute value functions. Start at the origin and shift the vertex. So here it kind of gives you an idea of what this means. I'm going to explain that when you get to here. And then use the pattern to graph the right and left side, which is that pattern of up one, right one, up one, right one, and then up one, left one, up one, left one. And we do that 2 or 3 times depending on how our graph, like how big our graph is and how much room we have. Alright, so for example 2, what is the graph of y equals the absolute value of positive 2? So this plus 2. It is on the outside of the absolute value. So when I go up here and look at this chart, I see, okay, where's my number? It's located on the outside. Okay, outside. And it is a positive 2. So I'm going to go up to positive 2. Okay, so let's make a note. I'm going on the y-axis, up, positive 2. So I start at the origin. I shift up 2 units. This right here is my vertex. So now I do that slope or that pattern of going up one, right one, up one, right one, up one, right one. I would say 2 to 3 points here would be plenty. Okay, so I want to make sure I'm even on the other side. So I'm going to go up one, left one, up one, left one, up one, left one. Okay, and then I can use some kind of straight edge, like you could use your ID, and we could draw your line. Okay, but or not your line, I'm sorry, your 2 rays. And when you draw them, you want them to try to be even. You want to look like a V, not like, you know, a check mark or something. You really want it to look like that V shape. Alright, so for part B, we see absolute value of x. The minus 3 is on the outside. So, chart. Outside, minus sign, you're going down. So I'm going on the y-axis. I'm going to go down 3. Okay, so here's my origin where I normally start at 0. I go down 3 units, here is my new origin. Again, I do that same pattern, up one, right one, up one, right one. And I can easily fit 3 points on here. And then I can do the opposite, up one, left one. Okay, and I can see I got my V shape here. It's pretty even. Looks good. Alright, now for the second part of the notes here with these graphs, they're a little bit more intense. There's more information to talk about here. So first, we look at the equation. We have the absolute value of x minus 5. Immediately, you should recognize this looks different than what you just did. This minus 5 is inside the absolute value. So, on that first page, we go back to the chart. The chart says if it's on the inside with a minus, okay, inside with a minus, we're going to go right 5. So, I'm going to say on the x-axis, so we're going to go right or left now. We're doing the opposite of minus. We're going to the right 5. So we're going that direction. Okay, so starting at the origin, we go positive 5 to the right. Okay, so it's the opposite of what it tells you to do. Okay, now I have to draw a V shape. So I'm going to go up one, right one, up one, right one. I'm a little bit off the graph. That's okay. I can only really fit 2 points. So I'm going to fit 2 points the other way. And I draw my V shape. Okay? But then it says, if the graph of y equals absolute value of x minus 5 is translated 3 units to the right, what would the equation be? Well, I have to say, I think we need to change the directions to left, because if we go right 3 units, we're going to be way off the graph. So let's change this to left. Okay, so if I go 3 units to the left, what would the new equation be? So I'm going to use a different colored pen. From my origin at 5, go 3 units to the left. 1, 2, 3. I land at 2. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and draw that V shape. So from 2, up 1 over 1. Okay, up 1, left 1. Okay, now, what would that equation be? So, we would say y equals the absolute value. If we're on the x-axis going back and forth, we have to leave our numbers on the inside of the absolute value. So we're going to have x, we know we're going to have 2. But here is the deal. If this is on positive 2, it is the opposite inside of here. It is a minus 2. Okay, just like this was. If it's a negative 5 here, we're starting at a positive 5 here. Okay, we might even want to write that we're going to actually go to the positive 5. Okay, let's try again on B. So for part B, what is the graph of f of x equals the absolute value of x minus 2? Remember, f of x is y. Okay, go to our chart. Our chart says if the number is on the inside, okay, we have 2 insides, and it's a minus, we're going right. So on the x-axis, I'm going to the positive 2, which is to the right of 0, 0. Okay? So here's 0, 0. I'm going to positive 2. Now, for this particular V, I can fit 3 points easily. So let's do 3 points up and over. We can also go up 1, left 1 3 times. And we can draw that V shape. Okay, but then the directions say, what if you took this equation, this graph, and you translated it 5 units to the left? What would your new equation be? So let's do that. So here is your 2. I go to the left 5 units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I land at -3. I go ahead and do my V shape. Okay, that one's not as even, but it's okay, I guess. Then I go down here to write the equation. I've got y equals the absolute value of x, and I have a 3. But every time I write the equation, I must do the opposite. So if this is a -3, then this is a +3 inside my absolute value. Okay, we've got 2 more like this. For letter C, this one is a good problem just because we don't have anything on the inside or the outside, which just means that you're at 0. And this is that one I talked about on the front page. It's this one right here, y equals absolute value of x. That is this one where you start at the 0 and you just go up 1, right 1, up 1, left 1, and you just continue that pattern. So let's draw that. Starting at that 0. Okay, now it says, if this graph is translated 4 units to the left, what would the equation be? So let's go 4 to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4. We land at -4. Now, for this particular graph, I can only fit 2 points on here. So I'm just going to do 2 points. Make it a little smaller. Okay. So y equals the absolute value. X in 4, because we landed at 4. But if this is negative, then when we put it here, we would do the opposite. So it would be +4. Alright, lastly, what is the graph of f of x equals absolute value of x plus 6? So again, that's your y. We look at our chart. It says that if it's on the number's on the inside, we do plus, and then we go left. So this means that on the x-axis, we go -6, which is to the left. Alright, so here's 0, 0. I go -6. Okay, up 1, right 1 is pretty easy. Then I have to go the opposite direction. Obviously, I have to be off the graph, and I have to just estimate. So up 1, left 1, up 1, left 1. So I say that's pretty even, and I kind of try to use the grid marks to kind of help me with that, and go ahead and draw that graph. Okay. Then it says, if you were to translate this graph 9 units to the right, where would your new equation be? Or where would your equation be? So go 9 to the right. So I land at +3. Can go ahead and graph that. Okay? So just like we've been doing, y equals the absolute value, x, we're at a 3, and if this is positive, you do the opposite, so it'd be a minus 3. And then that's it for day 8.